So first and foremost is just figure out what risk actually means for your organization. And this is a little bit, I'd compare it kind of to OSINT, like what you would do, obviously, if you're hacking into a different organization. But there's all sorts of information publicly available about probably your own company, especially if it's publicly traded. So things like financial statements, end of year reports, any kind of board documentation you can find online. And basically just start reading that. And the reason I say that is because that will help you build that muscle of number one, understanding what the priorities from the business are. And then number two, actually understanding, okay, how are they thinking about and talking about risk? And how can I start to frame the pieces of the conversation I do have access to in those ways? Second, I would say any kind of reporting that you can do where you're actually adding that bespoke layer on top of it. So I know obviously depending on what software you're using or kind of how you've set up your different reporting, anything you can do to really take, whether it's a template, whether it's a bespoke report all the time, and start to just think about, okay, again, given that kind of quote unquote OSINT, if you will, of risk at the company, based on what I'm knowing about what the company wants, how can I apply that to this report? How can I really think about what I'm doing here? And then third is really just find folks across the business who, again, are those non-technical partners. So this could be folks from enterprise risk, could obviously be within GRC. If you have a large cybersecurity program and folks are working on things like strategic projects or just broader initiatives, again, working with them a little bit and just kind of raising your hand to say, hey, even if I can't contribute to this, I'm curious to at least maybe sit in on meetings or join some social connectivity. Basically, just find ways to get yourself in the room. And then frankly, again, it depends on relationships, but if you are more junior and you are working with someone like a CISO, maybe just ask them if you can have a little bit of maybe mentorship time, things like that, and just start picking their brain about some of these topics to really see, number one, how are they thinking about it? But number two, what are the tools that they're using? How are they framing this out for the folks that they're reporting to? All of those different pieces. So I realize that's a lot of different skill sets, right? And a lot of different techniques, but that's where I'd start, obviously, depending on your organization and kind of internal politics and all of those different things.